Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues, and today we're taking a look at a package of ice cream sandwiches because you know it's the early part of May and it's hot outside. Okay, no it's not. Today we're taking a look at the DC Collectibles action figure bases. And there's not much way to this packaging. You can kind of see it there, action figure bases, and if you can read Spanish, well then there you go. So it's for your DC Collectibles action figures. Not much to really talk about. I apologize if I get your YouTube name right. It's Master Sentinel or Master Jedi Sentinel has kind of reviewed these, and I had forgotten that they were, I knew they were coming out in the month of May, but I thought it was going to be a little bit later into the month, actually more June, and they just came out this previous Wednesday, depending on, you know, when you're watching this video. But I have some figures that are prone to falling over. I've had some that have caused other figures to fall and break, or something become dented or loose. So I remember in the early part of my channel going, oh look, we got another figure stand. Not that we really need figure stands. I wish we had other accessories. And then DC must have been listening to a lot of us. We were saying, we don't need these. And then we didn't get any. And then we were like, hey, my figures are falling over. They got loose legs or loose ankles or whatever those things are. We really want stands again. So some people think, well, I shouldn't have to buy stands. They should come with them. Yeah, I get that, but I got these from Alter Ego Comics, and they were, if you can see the price there, $9.95. I've seen them on eBay. They might be a little bit more expensive, not too much though. But through Amazon and Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store, they're right around the $10 to $13 range. The average price has been right around $10 for these, which I think is really great. You get 20 stands, you can see right there. Contains 20 pieces, so each one of these little chambers is 5 here. If we want to do math, 5, 10, 15, 20. There you go. So I thought I would show you these. I mean, kind of see what they are. Don't know what kind of review this is going to be, but if you're thinking about wishing you had some stands, maybe you might like these. So I'll stop the yammering right here and we'll get to the look of the actual stands. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm showing you Stargirl here. She has kind of been one of the ones that has been kind of a back rower or up a little bit on a base that I have that has recently fallen over and has caused one of my favorite figures to fall over. And not only did he fall from a really tall shelf, but it also broke his finger off. And it also broke his glider wings. My favorite DC figures, because of you, and you like to be falling over, caused Red Robin to break. Now, somebody's like, oh, Rob, your favorite figure? Don't worry. I've got an extra. So this guy is going to become fodder for a custom that I'm going to be doing, and I've got the little piece of his finger I can glue back on. So these guys right here are going to be very, very important to me to keep figures that I like from falling over. Not only were they in their individual compartments, but each one of these is individually sealed. So we're only going to have one today. We don't want to, you know, ruin our dinner. So, you know, here we go. Not much to this at all. It's just a standard black base. Just some little product information on the back from DC Collectibles, DC Comics. The new DC Comics logo, like it or love it, there it is. And somebody like Stargirl, who likes to fall, will now be able to stand. Not only does she stand well on the base, but, I mean, yeah, if she does have a little bit of a loose ankles that you can kind of see there, I can at least get the legs spread out a little bit more so she has a little bit more room. Now, I've got Black Mask on one of the older bases. So as you can see how much smaller this base is compared to here. And there were different sizes. There were some smaller than this. I have the Batman Incorporated, or the Batman Reborn Batgirl that came on a much smaller base than this, that basically was only for 1 foot, which sometimes made the figures lean just a little bit. So you can kind of see some figures, like for Black Mask here, it's really hard to get him to stand straight on the stand because of, see, he's not on it very much at all, as you can kind of see there. So this would be really nice to get Black Mask standing on a better base. To see he wants to lean just a little bit right there. Now, I don't know if part of that is just the little bit of ankle articulation he has, but you see he's kind of off the base here. So let's get him on his own base. Okay, since you were good, we'll have a second one. I like that these are kind of individually packaged together. At first I was like, why don't you just put them all in one bag? Well, then they could have been scuffed or scratched and all that stuff. So it's going to be nice to get Black Mask on his own base that is big enough for him. Now, he does kind of lean a little bit because he does have a little bit of ankle articulation, but I'm not worried about him toppling to the left and the right. He can stand pretty good. Now, on my shelves, I had them stand a little bit closer, kind of in a group pairing. So that is one drawback with a little bit bigger base. But as the handful of times that I've had figures fall off of a shelf and down to the ground and possibly risk getting damaged or broken, that's really kind of bothered me. So this is really going to rectify that. And I may have to spread my figures out a little bit more, but I think it's going to be worth it just to save some figures' life. I do have a whole assortment up here after one of the last reviews I did, which was Harley Quinn from Arkham Knight. So I have all the different figures up here on the table that I was kind of showing with that. So these will just be just the different figures I have up here, and I'll get them all on different bases. Alright, this is an assortment of figures I had up here while I was doing the Red Hood and Harley Quinn from the Arkham Knight video game figures here. And I grabbed a couple other ones that were prone to be falling over and that really could have benefited from stands. So I think the figures look really good on them. One of the big ones here is the Son and Batman and Son figure that desperately needed a stand to be able to stay. So you can see to displace his weight a little bit, I got this leg bent back. You see he still wants to fall just a little bit, making sure I've got that pegged down in there. The table leans a little bit, but kind of get him in a little bit more of a pose, so I got some weight on the back part of that foot, and he's going to be able to stand. There's no way this figure would have stood. If you saw my review, and especially ODC's review, there was no way this guy was going to stand without spreading his legs really far apart and getting him to be hunched over. If you raise the camera up a little bit, he's standing at a more of a normal stance here. And it actually looks kind of cool, like he's in motion a little bit, and that's going to be due to the help to be able to have the stand there. These clown thugs from the Arkham City video game, their weird and wonky stance that they articulated them in, I even complained about it, or complain's the wrong word, I was just really taken aback by why they sculpted these bowed legs on these guys. It made posability very, very hard, and they were stuck in the back row. And with just this wide open stance, they always wanted to fall. Anytime I got the arms up at all that moved the weight displacement out a little bit, they constantly fell over. So I just had them kind of leaning in a back row, or sometimes I didn't even put them up at all because I was afraid they were going to topple other figures over. Now, the Huntress I thought was a really good figure. I don't know if it's the shelf I have her on, but she constantly kept falling. She thankfully kept falling backwards. She did fall forward once off a very high shelf and broke her bow and arrow. So I've got to refix that. We've got Stargirl kind of hiding in the back behind Red Hood, and there's Red Robin. And I've got Harley Quinn kind of posed, kind of similar like I did to Batman, but with the stand I can get some of these figures in a little bit more of a dynamic pose and not have to worry that they're going to come toppling over. So I thought that was pretty cool. Some of the figures do have really deep pegs, holes in them, so those pegs recess a lot more, and I could potentially get somebody up on one leg, maybe in a kicking pose or something like that. So I think this is just worth the investment just to have your figures on stands. Now, that doesn't mean that they're never ever going to topple over, because if you have somebody with a loose ankle and they decide to tip forward and knock into somebody else, yes, that could be potential, but just normal tapping on a table or something like that, you can see the figures are wiggling, but they're staying pegged onto their stands. So these are about as close as I can get some of them to one another. So yeah, you're not going to be able to get people right on top of other figures, maybe in a group pose, but I think if you're like me and you just want to make sure your figures stay nice and don't go falling all over the place, that these stands are going to be really worth it. I did not think this video was probably going to be this long, just reviewing stands, but I'm very happy to be able to have these so I can make sure my figures don't fall over. There you see one of the clowns because of his bowed stance. Even though this base is pretty big, this leg still wants to come off of it just because of how wide and wonky his stance is. But he's standing on it just fine, and I'm not having to worry about him falling off. To kind of do what Stu does, he uses a pop can as a frame of reference. So there's the pop can. Let's take off one of these guys. And you can see, so there's a pop can in reference. DC Collectibles figure stands are out at your local comic retailer, or you can find them online. Don't pay any more than 13 bucks is about the highest I've seen. You can find them anywhere between 10 to 12 bucks fairly cheaply, and you get 20 of them. So the comic shop I went to only had one bag left, and they said we only had 3 bags, and they went really fast. So I think I'm going to get me a couple more bags because I know there's going to be more figures in the future, and I still have quite a few other figures to put on bases. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'll leave you guys here. And as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues signing off saying we will see you guys next time. So cool. Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues, and today we're taking a look at oatmeal sandwich pies. Hello everyone and welcome to Rob's Rogues, and today we're taking a look at ice cream sandwiches because you know it's really hot outside, it's June. Hello everyone, welcome to Rob's Rogues, and here... Alright, here's about 10 figures right here that I opened up the first set here, and I had about 12 or 13 figures up here kind of doing reviews, and I kind of...